Now to Brazil, where the Supreme Court has ordered police to remove roadblocks set up by supporters of President Jair Bolsonaro to protest against his defeat in Sunday's election. His supporters have been blocking traffic in at least 23 Brazilian states. They say they won't acknowledge his loss. The president has not spoken publicly since official election results were released, nor has he called his rival Lula da Silva to concede. Now we can bring in DW correspondent Johan Ramirez, who's in Rio. Welcome, Johan. So still no word from the president?
Not a word from the President Jair Bolsonaro, who is still in Brasilia, the capital of the government. Local media were reporting that he was going to address the country yesterday. He didn't do it. His Minister of Communications said that he was going to do it today, but it is already midday here in Brazil and he hasn't spoken yet. His vice president already conceded. He called the vice president of Lula da Silva and congratulated him for the victory and said he was ready to work on the transition process. But Jair Bolsonaro hasn't said nothing, and it is worrying because he keeps silent. Tensions in the country raise. His son yesterday tweeted that Brazilians should keep fighting for the country. He thanked all the supporters of his father, Jair Bolsonaro, for what they had done for him. So it's a kind of an ambiguous message. It could be like, thank you, and this is over. But at the same time, he said we have to keep fighting for Brazil. So it's not clear what is going to happen, but we are still expecting Bolsonaro to speak today.
Right. Meanwhile, Bolsonaro supporters blocked roads in the majority of Brazilian states last night. What's happening today?
By the time being, more than 20 states are still blocked by truck drivers around the country. At some moment, there were 24 states blocked. The Supreme Court ordered the highway police unblock these roads, and they have said that they have already unblocked at least 200 roads around the country. Truck drivers have been a group that have supported Jair Bolsonaro very strongly during his whole administration. And I think that the speech of the president is going to be key. If he concedes, this should be over. But if he doesn't, if he challenges the results, Brazil could enter into a very, very dangerous path.
OK, thank you for that, Johan Ramirez. Well, Jair Bolsonaro lost the election by a narrow margin to the leftist challenger and two-time former leader, Inácio Lula da Silva. Let's look at how that happened.
As the sun rose over Rio de Janeiro, Brazilians began to adjust to their new political reality. Jair Bolsonaro has been voted out as president. He was narrowly defeated in a tense runoff election by leftist rival Luiz Inácio Lula da Silva. For some, the result represents an opportunity for change after 4 years of far-right leadership.
Now that Lula is back in power, we know that he will fulfill everything he promised, and that we will once again take care of our Amazon, our rainforest, our fauna, and restore what we lost.
Others reflected on the impacts of such a polarized vote.
There will always be some who say there was fraud. But I think the results will be accepted. We will have to see.
For many of Bolsonaro's supporters, the fight is not over. Highways across the country were shut down after truckers and other Bolsonaro supporters set up blockades in protest.
Bolsonaro was forcibly removed from his throne, and we are going to put him back in power with the strength we have.
Bolsonaro has yet to concede defeat. The former military officer has cast doubt on the integrity of Brazil's elections for months and suggested that he may not accept a losing result. Now, his silence has left the country on edge, waiting to see just how he will respond.